What's going on, guys? As always, our two unofficial, unpaying sponsors, which coincidentally enough is what we're going to talk about today. Did I mention that's good coffee? All right. What's your library look like? Hopefully, you're all going out and actually getting hands-on training. There's no substitute for hands-on training that you then bring back home and implement through practice, etc. yourself. However, even if you're doing that, and especially if you're not doing that, you really need to have a good reference library. Quick camera adjustment. Y'all just hold still. There you go. Hopefully that didn't make you too motion sick. Why do you need a good physical library? Well, the day may come when you need to reference back to things, and unfortunately, as it is when we all get older, sometimes things start slipping in the memory. You don't always necessarily recall or remember everything like you once did when you was way younger. Sometimes you want to be able to show someone who doesn't know anything stuff, and time or circumstance might be that you need to be able to hand them a physical book. Here, read through this. When you're done, let me know. We'll go over stuff that's in the book. There's all kind of reasons to have a physical library. Again, there's no substitute for actually getting out to a class with an instructor, but I understand everybody has got their own things going on. Sometimes you might not be in a position to. I get that. I would still encourage you to try to find a way to, but in short of that, I believe most of us can at some point scrape up enough money to buy a few books. The ones I'm going to show you are not expensive. They all average between $20 and $25, give or take. It's not anything crazy cost-wise. And you don't have to get them all at once. Again, the idea is to build a library that you can have. Even you older experienced guys, it's still a good thing to go back and reread this stuff, refresh your memory, maybe catch something that you missed the first time, maybe read something that's put in a different manner away from where you were originally trained of doing it. That's a thing. I will especially stress this to some of you younger guys just out of the military and such that are now moving over into the armed prepared citizen world. While all of your skills and such are valid in the context of which you were taught them and did them, there are subtle nuances and context and differences when you merge over into the world of the armed prepared citizen. So there's things that you guys need to be looking at altering, maybe doing a little differently, both in practice and your way of approach, thinking about it, etc. All of these books are good ways of doing that. Now, some of them are, I don't want to say redundant, but for lack of a better word, they are. But they're usually different enough that they're more complementary than redundant, if that makes sense. There's a reason why you always constantly hear me saying, like I just did at the start of this video, that these guys are unofficial sponsors of the channel. Why do I say that? Because I'm not sponsored. No one pays me to make videos. No one pays me to talk about their stuff. I talk to you guys about stuff that I like and use, as I've said ad nauseum, and I talk about stuff to help out friends. Wow. Isn't that crazy? Now, we got to touch on something here before we get too in-depth into this, because it gets tossed around a lot, and most people are absolute ignorant idiots. Some intentionally, some unintentionally. But we need to address something. Some of you need to go look up the actual definition of what a shill is, okay? Someone who's simply talking about stuff that they like, even if it was given to them, does not equal a shill. Someone helping friends out with their businesses does not equal a shill. Especially so if you're told up front, hey, this is a friend of mine. A shill is someone who intentionally and deceitfully defrauds someone of their money. Guess what? You're not paying a dime to watch any of my videos. So even if I lied through my teeth to you, I'm not defrauding you of your money because I'm not getting your money. You're not paying me to be here. No one is. Okay? Now that the motard portion of the video is over, let's get into the good stuff for you guys. So, going back in the day, banger series right here. These are the Tactical Wisdom series from my personal friend, Joe Dolio. Pretty smart fellow. Does some good books. Even if he was a crayon eater at one point in his life. Tactical Wisdom series is absolutely excellent stuff. I've got all of them except for, I think, the Field Notes manual, but you've got your baseline training manual, Fieldcraft manual, defensive operations. If you can see my bookmark, I am rereading defensive operations again. Why? Because reasons. It's one of a couple of things that we're most likely to have to do as armed prepared citizens. Scouting and patrolling. That's the other one that's really applicable and important. First aid. Yes. Not a trauma handbook. This is first aid when you ain't got no other first aid. Hint, there's a difference. Speaking of the first aid aspect, this series right here, Armed Citizen Casualty Care. This is another very, very, very close friend of mine. These are books that you want to have. This one is The Practical Guide to Trauma Response When Seconds Count. Survival Pharmacopoeia, about medicines, what to use for what, dosages, so on and so forth. He also has a third one out already. I don't have it yet. I will be getting my personal copy, because again, it's a friend, very soon. And I will put links in the description box to where you can get all of these at. Again, I don't get a dime for showing these to you. Okay? Can I just stress how much that absolutely ticks me off that I even have to say that? Because it shouldn't matter, regardless. It's either good or it's not. They're good. Stepping on over. You guys have seen this one. Speaks for itself. There are other books that he has on the website. Using a radio, gathering information, communicating with your family, friends, teammates. It's going to be a big thing. Stop worrying about how to be a world-class ham operator unless that's just what you want to do. But for those of you who aren't interested in that, that's your ticket. You're going to learn how to use your simple radios to do the things that as armed prepared citizen we want to do. Not so much to do as the Queen himself, Nada Rubicon, points out. We're not trying to make contacts with anonymous men. Unless that's your thing, all right? Moving on forward. Professional Citizen Project. Absolute plethora, both of those words, of knowledge. He has got an extensive library. I don't even have all of them yet. Individual citizen tactics, or skills, skills. Individual tactical skills. That's CM1. CM2, reconnaissance. You know what goes really good together? These two. They really complement each other in a most awesome way. You should get them. That's number 2. I do not have number 3, which is the AR pattern rifle and carbine. I intend to get it soon though. I know my way around ARs. I have been working on them and shooting them in some form or fashion for better than 40-something years. I still want the book. Could still be little tips and tricks that I pick up. It's worth it. The CM4 manual. It's the Teenage Prepper manual. I no longer have any teenage kids. My kids are adults. I've already raised them in this lifestyle. However, if you have younger kids coming up to be teenagers, that might be one you really want to look into having. If you have friends with soon-to-be or teenage kids, that might be a good one to have. Number 5, land nav. If you don't know your way around a compass and a map, that's a good one to have. Number 6. This one is probably tied for first place for me if you were only going to get 1 or 2 of the Professional Citizen Project manuals. It will be this one, number 6, and number 7. This is not a straight regurgitation of the Ranger Manual. It pulls extremely heavy from the Ranger Manual, but it does away with a lot of stuff that's not applicable to us as armed prepared citizens, and it puts the rest of the Ranger Manual in more of a layman's terms format so that it's a lot easier to read and understand. If you've ever read through any actual military field manual, including the Ranger Manual, you know how absolutely mind-numbing it can be to try to get through. This makes it actually digestible and something that you can read through. The one that's tied with number 6 here is number 7. Why? Well, because it covers a lot of the stuff in the reconnaissance manual. It, again, goes very well with the Tactical Wisdom Scouting and Patrolling Manual, but it's dedicated to the reconnaissance aspect. Gathering information. Contrary to popular belief, one of the most important things that we will be doing as armed prepared citizens is going to be gathering information. Knowing what's going on around us. Discovering a threat before said threat is literally knocking on our proverbial door. That's why this is so important. In looking for those threats and gathering that information, you also want to not be found and discovered yourself. You don't want the threats to know that you're there and looking for them. That's why that stuff's so important. It will help, for some of you, get you out of the mindset of when things go bad, you're just going to be running around, running and gunning at everything that squeaks, pops, moves, or farts. That's a quick way to get unalived and not be an asset to your family, friends, team, etc. Do you, though? That's number 7. Number 8. I still have to get number 8. that is the Modern Minuteman. It is actually authored by guest author Jay Pallardy, who his channel is the Modern Minuteman. I would encourage you to obviously go check that out when you get a chance. Number 9. Also by Jay. I am about halfway through this one. A lot of stuff I already knew. Few little takes on things that I didn't think about or know. This is going to go extremely well with the other manuals for when you're actually out doing all of that reconnaissance and scouting and patrolling, because guess what? You're going to do that out in the weather. Whether it's hot, cold, wet, so on and so forth. Ain't going to matter. You're still going to have to do it. Good source of having some tips and tricks and information to better handle environmental conditions and that sort of thing. Now, additionally, with the Professional Citizen Project, there are also some very good extras that you can get, such as these field notebooks. This is a full-size one. It's literally just blank pages, lined pages, for you to take notes on, draw plans on, etc. It keeps it in a nice, simple format for you. Pocket-sized field notebook. Oddly enough, it fits right in a BDU pocket. Gee, wonder why that is. This is great for putting whatever you need to put in it when you're going out, such as, and not to give away anything from the books, but when you're formulating your actual plan and you've got your various PACE plan radio frequencies, times, locations, objectives, basically a lot of the info from your op board, so on and so forth. This lets you have a nice little handy notebook in your pocket. Doesn't hurt to have like a handful of these that you can continue to use. There are multiple different ones of this. This is another one, just a different cover. Samey. Short of Ride in the Rain notebooks, if you're in the field and need to jot down information so that you don't forget it, because you will, these are handy to have. A little bit less expensive than Ride in the Rains. Trade-off is it's not right in the rain, so you got to be mindful of the weather. Is what it is. There are multiple new field reference guides coming out. These take a lot of things from different manuals and are meant to be an accompaniment. I ain't had enough coffee to say them big college words. A lot of big college words, Missy. We're not but humble pirates. Paraphrasing, of course. But it gives you good, quick references on things from some of the other manuals, as well as the ability to take notes, put down what you need to put down, and go do what you need to go do. There are multiples of these. This is number 1. There is a number 3 coming out. I've got a pre-copy of it. As well as a couple others. They go with the other main manuals, but they're also good standalones by themselves. Another very important one is such as this, the Recon Leader's Guide. It takes most of the important stuff from your patrolling and reconnaissance stuff, puts it into a nice, memorable format that you can quickly look things up. If you forget something, have a question or something. Again, those of you that are career soldiers, you're probably going to already remember all this stuff. Understand, a lot of people aren't. There's a lot of people that will benefit from having this and being able to reference back to it. There is a regular bound version of this, and then there's the spiral version of this. I like the spiral version. It's got the nice coated cover on it. It also fits real good in a pocket or a pouch. Handy thing to take to the field. Guys, get your library together. You should have printed manuals. You should have the books. These do not require electricity or internet or anything else to access. All this requires is the book and the sun. That's it. If you've got the book and the sun, you can read these and garner information from them. If you don't want to get them all, look through and figure out which ones you think might be applicable for you. Even if you're experienced at it, refreshing all that stuff in your head that maybe it's been a while that you've done, or like I said, to get a different approach and method of doing something a little bit different than, again, how you maybe did it in big Army, big Marine Corps, is the thing. Understand there's going to be differences. So I'm a huge proponent, as you can see, of having printed manuals. Many of these I bought myself. Some were sent to me. If they wouldn't have been sent to me, I would have ended up buying them anyway. Irrelevant to the point, but I'm mentioning it so that somebody can't come back and gripe later. The clock is ticking. Things are not getting better. You need to be getting ready. And it's not always about having stuff, but at the same time, it is about having stuff. You can be the greatest marksman in the world, but if you've got a crappy unknown rifle, it's going to be less than optimal. You can know all about how to have plenty of drinking water on hand, but if you don't have the items and equipment needed to do that, it doesn't do you any good. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but having books to reference back to, or for those of you, again, that don't have any kind of past military training, etc., these are absolutely invaluable. So, am I going on about this? Yes, I am, because it's that important. Sometimes important things are worth repeating over and over again and going on for a long time about. So, I know I already lost most of you that have got the armadillo level attention span. That's fine. God didn't make us all the same. You do you. But I'm a big proponent of having the books. Some of the stuff I've done, a lot of stuff I haven't done, a lot of stuff has been a long time since I did it. Even though I have taken dozens and dozens and dozens of classes over the last 24 years, 25, no, let's see, it's been over 35 years, 30 years, something like that. Long time I've been taking classes. Long time. Long time. Check them out. There'll be links to where you can get all of them in the description box. Tactical Wisdom, Professional Citizen Project, Brush Beater, Armed Citizen Casualty Care. I will put all those up. Regardless of what your experience level is, I think you can get something out of these, and it's worth having. Physical paper copies, okay? Help yourself get ready. Take care, stay safe. I will see you in another one. Ave Christus Rex.